And of course the main aim of these changes is to protect the environment, and one man who knows all about that is Associate Professor David Paton, who's an authority on the Murray and the Coorong. Thanks very much for your time.
Pleasure.
Now, does this guide deliver enough water for a healthy river?
The Murray-Darling Basin Authority sort of predicted that somewhere between 3,000 gigalitres and 7,000 gigalitres, or maybe 7,600 gigalitres, need to be brought back into the system to give a healthy river. The 7,600 gigalitres gave you a pretty good guarantee that you'd get it. What they've done now is to take the lower end of that range in terms of going forward. So they're already compromising what might be a fair return to the environment.
What about the people who say this will devastate communities and cost billions of dollars in lost production?
I think we need to be aware that we've known for a long period of time, at least the last 20 years, maybe more, that we're probably taking more water out of the system than the system could deliver in every year. And we probably should have started the process of reform 10 or 20, maybe even further, more years back, to get the best outcome for this system. The pain that people are going to experience now, and the environment has already experienced that pain, it's deteriorated dramatically, is actually required now to actually make that difference.
On that point, there was a cap on irrigators in the 1990s that was supposed to deliver a healthy river, but that didn't work. Could this just be another process like that?
I think here the sort of intent of the plan is to actually say we're going to provide the water that is needed to provide an environmental system that is, to the large extent, healthy. And if that's the process by which they've done the first take on this, then that's a very good start. If you have a healthy river, then you have potential healthy irrigation systems and healthy communities along this river system into the future.
Now, all the talk about saving the river came about during the drought, and now we're in good times, if you like, flood times. So do you think the government could go soft on this issue?
No, look, I think we've got to be very careful. You know, the flows coming into the system at present are nothing like what they might normally be. We still are in a long-term drought, and we need to appreciate that the environment is wearing most of the consequences of that drought, so have irrigators to some extent. To recover the environment in the future is actually probably going to require a lot more water initially and then settling down to a more steady flow type program.
Now, the area that you are a specialist in is the Coorong. Is this going to save the Coorong?
The intent with the plan is to provide potentially somewhere between 7,000 to 7,600 gigalitres going out through the mouth. The real problem for the Coorong has been, for the last decade or so, because of inadequate flows to the mouth, salt water has actually incurred into the system and accumulated. It's led to the salinities being much higher than they should be. Instead of perhaps 2 to 3 times saltier than seawater as the worst case scenario, it's 5, 6 or 7 times saltier than seawater, above the tolerances of many of the aquatic organisms which feed the food chains through to fish, through to birds and so forth. If you have flows going out nearly all the time, that dilemma is then solved.
Thanks very much for your time.
My pleasure.